It's the most terrifying phone call you may ever make
911, where's your emergency?
on what could be the worst day of your life. 911. 3 numbers that could mean the difference between life
He's very blue. He's very blue.
and death.
My dad's dead. He shot himself.
The nation's 911 operators are the unsung heroes behind America's brave first responders.
They're coming to the back door now.
Now, Crime Watch Daily is taking you behind the scenes of those urgent 911 calls.
Burglary in progress.
We're teaming up with law enforcement in Montgomery County, Ohio, where the per capita murder rate in Dayton is actually higher than Chicago. At the busy 911 dispatch center, they average close to 400,000 911 calls a year. We have multiple cameras taking you to the incidents as they happen in real time.
They got guns and everything. Please hurry up.
From the very moment the plea for help comes in,
And what are they wearing?
Black hoodies with masks.
Black
on.
hoodies. What color mask?
White.
to when deputies roll on the call from dispatchers.
Black hoodies, white masks, that they have guns.
It's Friday evening, and I'll be riding shotgun with Deputy Chris Kidwell.
I have my vest, just in case, like you said, you never know.
My bulletproof vest protecting me from the slugs that might be flying tonight in the Dayton, Ohio metro area.
All right, let's roll.
The night shift at the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department begins at 3:30 p.m.
This is District 7, Montgomery County Sheriff's Office roll call.
The top commanders review the hotspots.
It's a vacant house. An out-of-state person purchased it, but it's been broken into several times, so make sure we're hitting that.
While recon, the canine takes a break.
If nobody's got anything, I say be careful.
Sunset is upon us.
We're getting ready to hit the streets.
But long before the dangers normally lurking in the dark can strike, our first call is a scary one.
911, what's the address to your emergency?
We have an overdose.
Is he breathing?
Is he breathing at all? I don't think so.
We've just been dispatched on a possible overdose. A 52-year-old male, unconscious, unresponsive, shallow breathing. They've dispatched medic crews and then we're en route there as well.
As we rush to the scene, the dispatcher helps the caller perform CPR.
Come on, man.
Is he breathing?
He's taking in a faint breath when I have to hold his head the right way.
An opiate overdose. All too common in this part of Middle America, and especially here in Dayton.
I can't move him. He weighs 500 pounds.
But this call is potentially dangerous for the first responders.
We're about 30 seconds out.
The dispatcher warns that an outlaw motorcycle club has a hangout a few doors down, and the bikers are known to carry weapons.
Fire and medics are already on scene.
When we arrive, the man is unconscious. Paramedics put him on the gurney. He's still having trouble breathing. They load him into the ambulance. Paramedics give him Narcan, an antidote that rapidly counters the effects of opioids.
56-year-old male, it is an opiate overdose. They had given him 4 Narcan before we got here. He's still unconscious, snoring respirations. They're going to try to get a line into him where they're going to administer Narcan intravenously, try to get into the system a little faster.
They take the man to the ER for treatment.
This being a Friday night, this is the first of many overdoses we'll see tonight.
As Crime Watch Daily previously reported in our groundbreaking heroin special, overdoses and heroin sales are a serious problem in this slice of Middle America.
Dayton, why do you think it's a drug hub?
The users that I've talked with, they say they come here to buy because this is where the dealers are. And they say that a lot of times when it comes to the courts and stuff, they're a lot more lenient than some of the other counties.
But heroin knows no leniency. She sinks her chemical claws into users, tearing them and their families to pieces. But then a heart-stopping call from a woman in fear for her life.
He's trying to break into my back door.
Okay. So he's trying to get in the back door?
He's climbed over the 6-foot privacy fence and fell onto my porch.
So he climbed over the wall in the back of the house?
He's drunk, I believe, because he has a bottle of vodka.
You go ahead and hide where you can hide, where he can't find you, and you stay with me on the phone, and I'm going to tell you when we've got him.
911 operator Patricia Snyder quickly checks the computer and learns the caller filed a protection order against the man allegedly attempting to enter her house.
We're responding to a burglary in progress. Apparently a known male trying to break in the back door of a residence.
Patricia explains why a quick and dramatic response is so critical.
There were cautions on his temporary protection order for armed and dangerous behavior and violence.
The man's face is bloody.
Why were you trying to break in, sir?
He appears to be intoxicated.
Oh, wow. This way.
Remember, the caller says he has a bottle of vodka.
Why is there a protection order against you? What were you doing here on the property?
The protection order, she's been letting me live here for the last...
Clearly she doesn't want you here if there's a protection order. What are you doing here?
She's let me live here with the protection order. She knows she's down here.
Come on right here and have a seat in this car.
Everybody have a seat.
The deputies tell me they are former lovers now living apart.
Go to the hospital?
Yeah.
Look at me. You look at me. You ain't messing around with me today, all right? You be nice on the way to the hospital. We got no problems here. All right, you gotta stay in your seat, and you just gotta relax.
Okay.
All right?
Time my nose is broke.
I believe you. Your face is pretty messed up.
Deputy, do you have an update for us?
Yeah, there was, we were responding to a burglary in progress. It turns out that the male that was on scene, he's actually going to be arrested for obstructing official business and CPO violation, which is a criminal or a civil protection order.
We don't know if there was a protection order that has been violated. The investigation is still happening. But we do know is a broken nose. That's why he's been gushing blood. Was the injury use of force related?
I believe it was. I believe he was refusing to comply with the first responding deputies that were on scene. There was a strong alcoholic beverage coming from his body, so I would say he's been drinking heavily today.
It's a busy night for law enforcement in Montgomery County, Ohio.
Broadcast for Jefferson Cruz. Be on the lookout for a reckless driver.
And it's about to get busier, thanks to heroin, casting its dark and deadly cloud over the city. The deputies say smack caused this smash up on the freeway.
The initial report is a car that has struck a guardrail, rolled over approximately 4 times. The driver's being extricated, and they've already reported it's a possible heroin overdose.
The SUV on its side, the hazard lights still flashing.
That's the car back there. Traveled probably about 200 feet with 4 confirmed rollovers.
It struck the guardrail before it rolled over.
See where they cut the windshield out to get him out.
Deputies say the driver was pinned inside, still unconscious from the heroin overdose.
As of right now, he's had 3 doses of Narcan, still not really coming to yet.
Is that a rock or is that caplets? It looks like we possibly found a nice sized chunk of heroin on the individual that was involved in the crash.
The deputies say they found this baggie of the white stuff in the man's sock. It's a miracle he didn't hit another car. The outcome could have been drastically different.
It's just another Friday night, and unfortunately, this is what we get.
Major Darren Wilson tells me this part of Ohio has become a hub for illegal drugs.
How big of a problem is it in Dayton?
Per capita, I think ours is like 2nd or 3rd in the nation.
And where is the heroin coming from?
The heroin that we have seized, we have links back to Mexico.
Heroin apparently led to this life or death call into the dispatch center.
He's OTing, we need an ambulance.
Another overdose.
And he's barely breathing, his pulse is real faint.
And this one is bad.
We were actually the first ones to arrive on this scene.
Deputy Chris Kidwell knows the boy's stepfather. He's been here before.
Is it your son again?
Yes, it's come to visit his daughter, and then, you know...
Let's get in there and make sure he's all right.
That yellow kit he's carrying is a portable defibrillator, used in case the victim's heart stops.
There was a faint pulse, and he was clearly distraught. Hopefully we can get more information. and they're coming right here, and this looks serious. Yep, here comes the ambulance. All you can hope is that the person is alive. With the deputies that are already inside, there's probably about 6 or 7 first responders now at the scene.
The young man is unconscious, unresponsive.
That's the individual who overdosed. He's alive, so that's obviously a positive thing.
Miraculously, the young man, carrying an IV bag, is able to walk to the ambulance.
He came to without the use of Narcan, which is not common. He said he was extremely scared. His dad is extremely fearful of his life, obviously. This is the box.
So this is evidence.
This is the stuff that was in there. He's got a digital scale, along with a syringe and a spoon to cook the heroin up. I'm not going to criminally charge him at this time. He wasn't in possession of the paraphernalia. It was in another room from where he was located.
I looked over and noticed that he was non-responsive, gurgling, and realized that he had done something he shouldn't have done. So at the time I checked his pulse, took his vitals. Okay.
Were you able to determine that he had overdosed?
Yeah, it was something I'm familiar with, being an addict myself.
When you came out of the house, when we first responded, I mean, you were scared.
Well, yeah, I was scared for him because when I had checked his pulse, it was probably, I was getting one beat about every 30 seconds.
But while one man gets a new lease on life, death comes to visit another.
My dad's dead in his house.
What makes you think he has passed?
Because he shot himself.
So the call came in from the 911 dispatch center that a son went to go check on his father and found his father dead.
The deputies rush to the house.
If there is a deceased person in there, they're going to have to have an investigation to determine if there was, in fact, a suicide or if there was foul play involved.
That's the dead man's son talking to investigators inside the house.
I can't even imagine the grief he'd be going through. Walking in to check up on his dad and instead finding his dad dead, possibly with a self-inflicted wound.
It was a shooting.
Did it confirm what
Yeah, I mean, everything looks right on the nothing looks disturbed or out of place.
Did you see the body yourself?
Yes. Yeah.
And you're basically the first person that he's talking to since making this horrific discovery.
Absolutely. Probably one of the worst days of his life.
Do these types of incidents take an emotional toll on you?
I would say they do, absolutely.
It's Friday night in Dayton, Ohio, and there's danger in the darkness.
You can actually see the fire right here. This is a serious blaze. Right there, firefighters are breaking through the windows. There's the fire right here.
It's a routine night. Fires, drugs, and crime.
I just want you to stay calm and wait for the police to come talk to you.
Dayton and surrounding Montgomery County are ground zero in the heroin epidemic.
Do you know if it could be an overdose, ma'am?
And when you need help,
What is your emergency?
this is where your 911 call is answered.
Sir, do you still see somebody outside of apartment 7?
The Montgomery County Regional Dispatch Center. We're going to show you what it's actually like to be a 911 operator. When day turns into night, the operators keep the lights low, their eyes focused on the 4 computer screens in front of them. Captain Jay Wheeler oversees the always busy control room.
The phone system has 2 different screens. One is for the actual phone system, and the other one is the mapping software that we have that goes along with the phone. And then the other screens are the computer-assisted dispatch program that we have running.
This screen shows a series of standard questions the operators ask. But trust us, these people are ready for anything.
I don't want to live
Why?
because my family beats me.
I mean, it's not a reason to end everything. I mean,
Yes, it is.
That dispatcher talked the suicidal woman out of killing herself. They hone their skills with on-the-job training, and all are certified in emergency medical response.
Is she clammy? Is she having cold sweats?
Reading from a scripted series of statements, they reassure the caller help is on the way.
All right, I'm sending the paramedics to help you now. Stay on the line and I'll tell you exactly what to do next.
While they are still on the call, the dispatcher is already typing instructions. Those are immediately sent straight to the onboard computer in the sheriff's cruiser. At each desk is a tower of multicolored lights. Red means the dispatcher is talking on the radio to deputies. Yellow means the dispatcher is on a call. Green means the dispatcher is available for a call. And blue means no one is on the phone.
When we receive the 911 call, our phone system routes it to a call taker. And in turn, when they answer the phone, it will show information, show the phone number calling, show the approximate location where they're calling from. It'll give us latitude and longitude.
This is their break room, empty most of the time. The dispatchers are so busy, they generally eat at their desks.
Is she breathing?
A dispatcher, in my opinion, is one of the most difficult jobs there is at the sheriff's office. The people who are working in this room, sit in this room for 8 or 12 hours, they don't get to get up and go to half-hour lunches or hour lunches.
And going to the bathroom, nearly impossible.
If they have to go to the restroom, they get up, they run to the restroom, they take a radio with them, and then they come back.
What's the address?
Veteran 911 operator Patricia Snyder has had more than her share of memorable calls like this one. A mom was choking.
My mama can't breathe.
Okay, tell her to keep trying to cough. Can you tell her that?
Yes. Can you try to talk?
The child was just incredibly smart and able to follow every direction and able to give her address, and because of what she did, we were able to get help to the mother, and she actually got a Citizens Award.
What were you doing here on the property?
And remember when we showed you this bloody guy allegedly trying to break into a house?
So he's trying to get in the back door?
Patricia's relaxed demeanor helped the woman stay calm in the face of danger.
What's going through my mind is what can I do to protect the person on the phone? So once she had told me that he could possibly get in the back door, then my first thought is we need to get her somewhere where she's going to be safe, okay?
Patricia, who has been an operator for 5 years, turned detective to help a woman who couldn't talk. She's moaning because she was just shot in the mouth by an unknown assailant.
You've been shot in the mouth?
Patricia used her knowledge of the city and experience to track her down.
So we worked together to find out her location. We spelled street names, I spelled it.
Can you see a number anywhere, a address? Look around, see if you can see a mailbox.
She talked as best she could with yes and no, uh-huh and uh-uh. And we did cross streets, we did locations on where things that we were near where she was, what color car she was in.
You can only imagine the stress that comes with being a 911 dispatcher.
On a scale from 1 to 10, my job, stressful-wise, is about a 10.
Haley Kramer's stress level skyrocketed after a woman drove her car into the river.
I'm in the river. I can't get out. I can't get out.
The woman was trapped in her car. The water was rising fast, and the cell phone signal was dying.
I'm floating, but the water is up to my chest.
Where are you at, ma'am?
I don't know.
Find something in your car to break your window.
I'm so cold. There's nothing to break my window.
Our car was sinking, and then the call was about 20 minutes long, and I stayed on the phone until the fire department and the officers had gotten her out of the car.
Let me stand up. All you got to do, watch your back, okay? It might hurt a little bit, but you're going to get cut. Get out of here.
I could actually hear the water rescue team getting her out of the car.
Another day, another night at the 911 call center. The front line in the war on crime and drugs. So the next time you see the blue and red lights behind you, remember there's a team of dedicated first responders who have your back.
So the shift is coming to a close. What'd you make of the night?
It's pretty, no night's typical, but really call load was quite low. We did have some pretty serious calls.
Does it get your adrenaline running?
Absolutely, there's a lot of calls to do, absolutely.
Yeah, we didn't need to have any use of this vest, thankfully.
Absolutely.
Right? That would have been an interesting night.
And get this, the Sheriff's Department tells us it's not just heroin behind the surge in crime, it's also something they cannot control, the weather. This winter was exceptionally mild in Ohio, and when the weather is nice, deputies say the crooks come out in full force.